It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on what is today? The 20th day of September 2021. I'm Chillie Falls coming to you from Forest, Virginia, Central Virginia, right near Lynchburg. And I have a special guest this morning. And folks, you know how I might have a tendency to screw things up. And well, I did. I fouled up my script for the show today. But anyway, I have a special guest with us, Ty Anthony. He's from up in Brooklyn, New York. Ty, welcome to Chillie Chats.
Hey, Chillie, welcome. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We've been chatting for a few minutes, had just an absolutely delightful chat. The reason I contacted you to start with for being on the show was about a recent trip you took on Amtrak. How about telling us what you did, where you were going, and what you found in the sleeper car? Just tell the story.
Oh, thank you. So I'm an avid traveler, and since I have become mobility challenged, I feel that I can only go places that my chair can go with me. If I don't go, my chair can't go. So I basically travel on Amtrak, and due to COVID, I've really been traveling in the accessible sleepers. And primarily, I've been traveling in what they call the 11 car. So the 11 car is the older type of sleeping, accessible sleeper. And because sometimes I use a power chair, most times I use a scooter. I use a Pride Go-Go. It's a medium size, 4-wheeled. And so I need space within the sleeper to have my chair be out of the way, not blocking me or obstructing me. So within the 11 car sleeper style, the older design is perfect. It's large enough for me to roll into, and it has a separate door that opens that's a restroom, so I can roll my chair back into that area, and it's basically stored out the way for the duration of the trip. My most recent trip was to Miami, Florida, which is a trip I make kind of frequently. I've never encountered the new design sleeper, what they call the 12 car. So on this particular trip, I had the 12 car, and I was amazed. I was just stunned because for my particular needs, it was not appropriate for me. The design is an open design. It's just one big open box. And the restroom is now not in a separate space, but out in the open space. And I found that to be a challenge. For me, I don't need to have that open space to transfer. And the devices are not they're not labeled with the correct instructions to tell you how to use them. Like the rail, you need to push it in, push it up, and then pull it down for it to work. Well, by the time I figured all that out, needless to say, I had already gone to the bathroom. So that was a challenge. Also, some of the things crash into each other. Like when the bed is out, it extends under the sink. The table for writing and reading or whatever you're going to do, it extends over the bed. So therefore, it was just uncomfortable, the design of the new car for me. I've spoken to other people in the forum and in the blog, and they love it. They say for their particular needs, it's perfect. So I think it's depending on what your challenges are, that the space either works or does not work for you. It does not work for me. I need the 11 car. The meal service was what it was. It's basically a heated up TV dinner. They come, they ask you what you want, and they bring it hopefully at the time that you specify you'd like to eat. One of the problems of the accessible sleeper that I found is if you are mobility challenged, they don't make a great effort at rest stops to offer you the opportunity to get off and get some fresh air with everyone else. So basically, I got on in New York and I didn't get off again until I was in Miami the next day.
Yeah.
So you have to be sort of expecting that they're going to put you in the cabin and that's
Leave
it.
you. One of the things, and quite frankly, my guests they'll take anything in my audience. But one of the things that absolutely caught my attention as we were chatting earlier was no privacy. I mean, yeah, it's one thing if you're traveling solo, but especially if you're not traveling solo, to have no privacy for a bathroom, that's awful. I mean,
Yes,
that's
the 11 car design, the older design, I love it because there's this little small room. You pull the door open, and there's that private restroom. With the new design, in the 12 car being just one open room, the division, if you have to go to the restroom, if you're traveling with someone and you need to go to the restroom, there's a curtain which pulls diagonally across the cabin. You pull it diagonally. The problem with that is I may not see you, but I can smell you and I can hear everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's very uncomfortable. For me, I wouldn't like that. I don't like that, to have to go to the bathroom and you can hear and smell everything I can do, or you can ask the person to leave out of the cabin. But I just find that inappropriate as well. But with the older car, it is definitely a private little section of the room that the door pulls open, and that also acts as the shower. So the entire room, it becomes the shower. It's a hose that comes down, you turn it on, you shower, everything is sealed, nothing gets wet. But with the new design, that little room, they've taken the restroom element out of that little room and made it just only the shower.
Cabin. Yeah. Well, it's probably very similar to cruise ships. I mean, as you can tell, Ty, I'm a big fat guy. So, I mean, I've been in cruise ship bathrooms and showers that are perfectly fine, except I'm big and you get poked and prodded in places you don't want to get poked and prodded, but at least everything works. But I mean, it's a small space.
You will be, if you fit, you will definitely be poked and prodded.
Yeah.
And for me, the enclosed restroom allowed me and offered assistance with transferring, so I could hold on to either side. And it offered some stability, because you're talking about a rolling train. It's not, there's that added element of moving and shaking. So even if you had some stability in transferring, when you add that shaking and stirring, it's not quite that easy.
All right, again, because I'm a big fat guy, there was one other thing that I had to ask you specifically about, and that's the food. Now, I saw the menu, you had posted that, but then that's, I'm assuming, is
you better bring some food of your own, because that is a little, if you can imagine a Morton's TV dinner that you pick up in the Kroger's, that's the exact size. That's the exact size it is. And I'm a big guy also. So for us big guys, I would need, 2 of those, possibly 2.5, to feel like I'm really getting something. But it's one little plate, as you see there. And for dessert, it's one little brownie that comes in one of the prepackaged square that you would buy in the store. and one little tiny bowl of salad. Um, for the amount of money, in my personal opinion, this is an area they need to improve upon. When I've gone in the coach, the ticket has been $200. But when I have gone in the sleeper, the ticket has been closer to $1,500. And for that difference, I personally felt that it was not value added. It wasn't a value to be, because the only difference between the sleeper and the coach for me really was that the sleeper was my own little private area. Um, and that was it. When I was in the coach, I had my own little private accessible seat. And there was no one, there was people, around me on the side. And then no one actually had to sit next to me, because one of the interesting things is you are required to get a ticket for yourself, and you're required to get a ticket for your mobility device. So I had on my e-ticket 2 tickets. They put 2 as if it's 2 people. One person is me, and one person is
your chair. Wow.
And that is amazing. I'm like, huh? Who does that? Or how do you come up with that? But absolutely, they have you need a ticket for you and a ticket for your device.
Wow. How about getting on and off? Is it easy, difficult, challenging? Getting on and off the train.
It's challenging because each of the stations are different. So there are two primary methods. There are platforms where the platform and the train are equal, and they put what's known as a bridge plate, and you just roll up into the train. Stations that have elevated, they ask you to roll into this little square device, and they hand crank the device up to even with the door, and you roll in. The problem is when you roll in, the turn radius. I guess these trains were designed prior to the ADA, so some of them are not actually wide enough for you to make that turn to get into the main coach or the main sleeper. That has been challenging. It's more challenging on the East Coast than it is Midwest to the West Coast. They have Midwest to the West Coast, they have the superliners. So everything is larger than the viewliners that we have on the East Coast. The viewliner is similar to walking into the door of a plane. That how that's narrow is set and it's that sharp immediate turn. That's how it is, as opposed to if we were on the western side of the United States, the entryway is wider, and they too put a bridge plate, and you ride up the bridge plate and enter into the train. But it was much smoother. When I went from New York to Los Angeles, it was much easier in terms of getting on and off of the train. The challenge with the West Coast trains are the restroom is located like maybe 20 feet from your seat. So the challenge was being able to get from my seat to the restroom and back. Whereas on the East Coast, the smaller viewliner trains, the restroom is located directly across from the accessible seating. So all you have to do is make it like 10 feet right across, and it's a huge bathroom. If need be, you could stay in your chair and make it in. The design of the superliners, you don't have that luxury.
Okay. Do you have any trips scheduled in the near future?
As we were talking earlier, I'm hoping to spend the mid-December to mid-January in Cuba. I'm trying to figure out how or what to do To fly, I'm definitely afraid of flying. As I told you, I just don't go places that my chair can't go with me. So in the airport, they would separate me from my chair. So that's a great hindrance for me. But I'm trying to get over that fear and go to Cuba in December. But domestically, I'm probably going to head back to Florida again. My family lives in DC near you. So I take that 3 hour trip constantly. The Acela is very well designed. The Acela is very well designed in terms of large enough for you to get in. Once you get in, it's the turn radius for you to get to the accessible seating is large enough. So, I mean, for a person like me that's an avid traveler, but afraid of flying with my chair, Amtrak is a great solution for me. They just need to do some redesign in terms of people with power chairs and scooters. I guess power chairs came first and scooters are an afterthought. So they have never really designed or taken power chairs and scooters into consideration in the design of the trains. So hopefully 2 or 3 generations from now, they'll have improved the train. But definitely right now, unless you're a small, narrow person, of which I'm not, you're going to have some challenges that can be overcome. You're definitely going to have them, but expect they can be overcome.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, Ty. Probably my first trip that I'm going to be able to take will be on a train, since I, at least currently, I'm not allowed to get on cruise ships, but I'll probably head up to DC for something just to be able to take a trip. So this information has been great for me. I do appreciate your time, Ty. This has been wonderful, and I'll keep up with you, and maybe we'll do this again sometime soon.
We're going to go cruising together.
Well, that would be awesome. We could do that.
Thank
All right,
you. It's been great. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was Ty Anthony from up in Brooklyn, New York. Enjoyed that immensely. That was just great. That's what I needed this morning to get some good information. All right. Travel and cruise industry news for today. We got a tropical storm. Actually, 2 of them are out there sailing around here this morning. The weekend, we have highlights from the weekend, and we have the first ever carbon neutral flight. How's that? So that's in the offing here this morning. All right, let's look at the map. We actually have two storms here this morning. Well, phooey, it's not showing. Okay, so I've got to come over here. We got Tropical Storm Peter. That's the one closest there to the Leeward Islands. It's expected to pass north of the Leeward Islands in the early part of the week. It's located about 245 miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Maximum sustained winds at 50 miles an hour. Present movement is about 14 miles an hour. Minimum pressure 1,005. So it does have a little bit of room to strengthen. Interests in the northern Leeward Islands, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico need to monitor this because you could get some high tides and some undertows in the current and so forth. Peter's moving toward the west-northwest about 14 miles an hour. General motion is expected to continue during the next couple of days, followed by a turn to the northwest with a decrease in forward speed on Wednesday. It's expected to start weakening then toward the middle of the week. This is a pretty good sized storm. Tropical storm force winds are extending about 125 miles out. So even though it's not headed for any land, I don't think it's big enough that we could have all kinds of side effects from it. So then we've got Tropical Storm Rose. That's the one over a third of the way off the coast of Africa in the eastern tropical Atlantic. It's about 550 miles west of the southernmost Cabo Verde Islands. 40-mile-an-hour winds. The pressure is about 1,005. It's moving toward the northwest about 15 miles an hour. This motion at a slightly slower forecast speed is expected over the next couple of days. Maximum sustained winds are about 40 miles an hour now with higher gusts. Slight strengthening will be possible by tomorrow. Again, this one we're going to have to kind of keep our eye on. Not too sure what the direction this is going to go. If it follows along like Peter, it's going to veer off to the north, and we're not going to have to worry a whole lot about it unless we get it starts getting a lot stronger and bigger. Now, the other two, the yellow X's on the map, the one closest to Africa, tropical wave located on the far eastern tropical Atlantic, several hundred miles southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands. It's producing some showers and thunderstorms that are showing signs of organization. Upper level winds are expected to become more conducive for further development. They're talking about 20% chance over the next 48 hours, but 70% chance over 5 days. This one we got to watch. This one could definitely become not only a tropical storm, but has the possibility of hurricane before it's over with. And at least the path it's starting off now, this could come right across and down the alley. So we're going to have to watch this one close. Now, the remnants of Odette have popped back up on the screen. That's the one off just the coast of Newfoundland. It has dissipated from Odette's tropical storm force yesterday. It's still considered remnants at this point, but the low could acquire some subtropical characteristics in the next day or two as it moves slowly southeastward again and picks up warmer water. So this thing could strengthen back up into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It depends on how far to the south it drifts and how much weather we get. How much warm water we get pulled up. So going to have to watch that one. They're talking about the chance of about 30% chance of that one strengthening here over the next couple of days. So much for the weather. All right. Kind of a recap of the weekend. The MSC Divina sailed from Port Canaveral. That's the first MSC ship to sail from Port Canaveral. Our own Amy Rogers is on board. I'm hoping to be able to have a live stream with her sometime this week, or at least some pictures and stuff from on board the Divina. So we, of course, hope Amy has a terrific cruise. Definitely hope to hear from her. Then also over the weekend, Carnival Glory sailed from New Orleans, and Carnival Dream sailed from Galveston. Of course, New Orleans, this was the first cruise out since the start of the pandemic. And of course, the Dream is not the first ship in Galveston, but it's a new ship for Carnival to sail. So we got 2 new Carnival ships out there. So we got 3 major startups over the weekend. Now, most of you know that I've been talking with several people that were on the Virtuoso over the course of the couple weeks that they had some problems over there. I am continuing to set up a panel about the Virtuoso, which I'm hoping will include maybe another cruise influencer or 2. I've asked several. And also, I'm trying to get somebody from MSC to come on and talk about that as well. I can understand MSC being leery of it, but I am still working to try to put something together to give further voice to you guys that were on the Virtuoso and had problems with COVID and problems with MSC and how they handled it. I'm concerned, however, about one issue, and that is a number of the people in your group, in the Virtuoso private group, are talking to Cruise Law News. And he, of course, is just sucking that up. If you're interested in just bashing the cruise industry, then that's the place to go. He's a lawyer that represents people against the cruise lines and always has. And he's always slanted against us. I consider us, me, and in favor of anybody that is attacking the cruise industry. So I just point that out. If you want to bash the industry, you want to bash MSC, then continue dealing with him. If you want, in fact, to improve the industry and improve what happened with MSC so that it doesn't happen to cruisers on down the road, then that might not be the best place for you to be complaining, because he's going to be absolutely bashing MSC and the Virtuoso. There will be nothing good said about any of that from him. Just my opinion, sharing it with you. Like I say, I'm concerned that, what I hope to do with you guys, he would definitely shoot that one in the foot if he had a chance. All right, British Airways just flew the first carbon neutral passenger flight. The flight was operated on an Airbus A320neo, which the airline said burns 20% less fuel, had lighter seats, lighter catering carts, digital flight manuals, and in-flight magazines to reduce the weight. British Airways just flew the flight from London to Glasgow, and a major step after a year-long effort to reduce the carbon footprint of flying. We've heard about that before, about the cruise industry, and clearly the cruise industry, with changing to LNG and that kind of thing, is heading in the right direction on that. I was not aware that there was an ongoing similar effort on the airlines, and I found out that there is. So it was dubbed the perfect flight by British Airways. So don't know if it was a perfect flight or not, but it certainly was carbon neutral, and that's an improvement. So, all right, let's go over and see who's with us today. Carol's here. Gretchen's here. Nikki's with us, driving to St. Augustine for lunch with the sons. That's nice. Cindy's here, says good morning to all. Jason says, Cindy, how many more days? And she says 25. I'm beyond excited. Carol says she loves St. Augustine, spent many vacations there with our kids years ago. Jason says he cannot wait. Jack's with us from down in Conroe, Texas, 82 degrees in Conroe, partly sunny. Cindy says I was doing more packing this weekend and coordinating Halloween outfits for all 5 of us girls, and got my home COVID test. I'm ready. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. You love me. That's nice. I'm glad. Emily's with us. She says, hi, Chillie and gang. Jason wants to know if you're okay, Em. She's fine. Thank you for asking. Cindy says, I love train travel. My husband doesn't fly, so when we lived in Pennsylvania, we took Amtrak to Miami and the auto train from Lorton, Virginia to Sanford, Florida many times. I haven't been on a train since I was in college. So it's been a long time since I was on a train. My niece has traveled several times on the train from here to New York or here to Washington. And I think one time she went from here to Washington and from Washington to Florida. But she's traveled on it several times. And I'm looking, folks, at the possibility of, just to be able to take a trip someplace. Now, I'm still not going to do it as the way our numbers are. There's no sense in me taking a chance that I don't have to, number one. But if we get any kind of break, then that's probably going to be my first trip, would be a train trip someplace. We'll have to see. And Jason says, I'm definitely doing Amtrak soon. I enjoyed that this morning because, number one, it was some interest to me personally, but also to see how another somebody that is mobility challenged operates. As we all know, I am that also. So it was. I enjoyed having a different perspective than we usually have. Gretchen says, Cindy, coordinating costumes. What are you going as, or is it a surprise? Kenneth's with us. Hey, Kenneth, great show. Learned a lot. Ken from Waterford. Always thought about taking Amtrak, but that sounds very expensive. Well, it does if you have to pay for a chair and not just your ticket. If you just have the ticket, it's not bad. That's the way my niece, of course, went. She didn't have to deal with a chair. So that's one of the things that at least I know ahead of time that I can ask and be prepared for. So it's not taking me totally off guard. But anyway, yeah, I found that one surprising. Cindy says, we're going as the Pink Ladies from Greece. Oh, that's cool. That's Grease, the musical. Gretchen says, that's great. Can't wait to see the pics. We're going to have to definitely do a live stream on there. Peter is moving north. Yes, Peter is moving north. That's correct. When you go to DC, check out, we got NMAAHC, the new museum that is next to DC Monument. That's a must see. Okay. Maybe that's going to be where I go. Bye, Cracky. Cindy says, I'll be taking lots of pics. Almost 2 years since my last crew. We're going all out. That's fabulous. And hopefully we'll have Jason will be on the same boat. We're going to do some live streaming with Jason. I can absolutely guarantee you on that one, if we got any kind of live stream at all. So we'll see if we can't get the Pink Ladies of Greece involved in a live stream. That'd be awesome. I know how you feel, Cindy. I printed my luggage tags this morning, 75 days in advance, like a kid waiting for a trip to Disney World. I'm so jealous. Yeah, I want to go on the cruise so bad. And I tell you what, folks, some of you may or may not know that I saw my little post yesterday. I did my first. What the hell am I doing with this? Still, that picture of the damn airplane still up. Let me go get rid of that. I meant to do that before I went over to the chat room. So yesterday morning was my first venture out that I'm not tied to an oxygen tank. I'm tied to my portable unit, but I made a test run. I had tested it out, plugged in inside, and I tested it out. Battery operated, and it worked fine. And my oxygen levels stayed where it was supposed to be, all that stuff. So yesterday morning, I got up and I was out of Diet Coke, And I said, okay, I'm going to take my butt down to Kroger's because that's close. And if I have any problems, I know I'm less than 5 minutes away. I can get back home before I croak. So I took my little portable unit out to the truck. Of course, it was on the battery pack. And I went to Kroger's and went into Kroger's and I got creamer for my coffee because I was getting low on creamer, and got Diet Coke and put it and checked out and put it in the truck and came home. And when I got home, I said, okay, that all has gone fine. So now we're going to test out the cigarette lighter. So I turned the machine off, unhooked the battery operation so it wasn't hooked up to the battery, and hooked it up to the plug for the cigarette lighter, plugged it in, started it up, and it fired right up. So that's how. So now I know that I can spend longer periods of time, because that's just like being plugged into electricity. They say 4 hours and you need to take a break. So, all right. So at least 4 hours in the truck, I know is now capable of. It's still not what I need to get on an airplane any place, because the battery is not supposed to last that long. That's another issue I still have to deal with, is multiple batteries. So I've sent them an email. I have not heard back from them yet. But anyway, my independence is better today than it was yesterday. So that's a step toward me getting back on a boat somewhere. And it's definitely a step toward me doing a whole lot more, even if it's around here, So Cindy says, Gretchen, which ship are you sailing on? Emily says, Disney World is already decorated for Halloween. Should check out some of the YouTube videos. Maybe you'll have to leave sup at home, Emily. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Hey, Rob's with us. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Under 80 days until I'm back at sea. That's fabulous. I'm so glad that you guys are getting to go. I just hope that it stays up and doesn't get funkier. That's our hope. I'm worried about it, but that would be great if it would continue on at least like this or start getting better. Rob says it's 71 and raining all day there in Lexington, Kentucky. My old stomping ground. Rob, what ship and date? Cindy says passing Fort Castillo. Oh, Nikki says she's passing Fort Castillo. She's in the car. Oh, Jim Walker blocked you on Twitter. I don't blame him. It's not sad that he blocked you. I would block him, but yeah, I just so totally disagree with a lot of the things he does. Jack says, I've taken several train land cruises, including circling the USA, also Trans-Canada. I find them relaxing and enjoyable. I'm looking forward to it. And now, at least I know, if I get a sleeper car, I know there's electric available, because, like Ty said, he's got to be able to plug in his chair or his scooter, whichever he was on, to charge it up. So I don't know if I don't have a sleeper car, then if I have access. That's one of the questions I have to ask. But as long as I got power, then I could, I can do a lot more with it, which I'm thrilled about. Emily said my next trip is Amtrak down to DC. Awesome. Kenneth said it would be great when everything gets back to normal to go on a cruise with all you guys. We should all buck together as a family. That would be great to meet everybody. I totally agree, Kenneth. I am so looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys. And believe me, y'all will know every cruise that I go on and we can work something out. That would be fabulous. Cindy says, I got the best Wi-Fi package for our cruise. I'm hoping to do a live stream. Yes, I agree, Kenneth. That's great, Cindy. If we're going to hook you up there. Jason says you'll get there. I'm hoping so. It's very kind of you to say, Kenneth, says Emily. Would be a good idea one day when Chillie can cruise. We will do that. So good to hear. Some airplanes have power outlets available. That's good to know, Jack. I realized that they are the issue with flying is how many batteries there's sometimes they have limit on the number of batteries. And then if I'm going to take my scooter or if I'm going to rent a scooter once I get there, I've got those decisions to make as well. But yeah, at least I'm going in the direction of thinking positively now, which I haven't been at all. But now I'm starting to get really heading in the right direction. Gretchen is on Sky Princess. Rob will be on Celebrity Edge. Oh, with Captain Kate. We love Captain Kate. Oh, Gretchen, thank you for the get your next Diet Coke on me. Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, I got. It was really funny because I got, a supply. One of the difficult things is me carrying stuff in because I've got all this other crap that I'm balancing. So I brought in one bottle of Diet Coke and my creamer, which was in one bag. So I got the one bag in the house. I got my niece to go outside and get the rest of it and bring it in for me so I didn't have to tote it. So, but that was done. Gretchen's December 5th. She's on December 5th also. That's how I met Chillie. We were supposed to be on Epic next month, but that's not happening. We postponed until September 22. Yep. All right, guys. So anyway, again, thank you, Gretchen, for the super chat. I do appreciate that. That always helps my channel. And I always appreciate when you guys do think that's terrifically wonderful, as always. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I'll be venturing out to my therapy this afternoon without an oxygen tank for the first time. I'm going to use their oxygen tank today. I just want to make sure I can get there and back without being tied to it. And then I'll start putting one in the truck so I don't use their oxygen over there all the time. So, but that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. I will see everybody back here same time tomorrow on Tuesday, travel and cruise industry news. In the meantime, you guys have a terrific day. Thanks for being with me. This is the old fat travel guy. I'll see you next time. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie Chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.